You realize up to this point in time, neither of us have driven a G-Wagon.
You're right. That's why we decided to pull this one.
The G-Wagon has existed since 1979.
That's a long time.
It is a long time. It was originally built as a military vehicle and bought worldwide. It had diesels and low power engines. And then in 1983, a G-Wagon won the Paris to Dakar rally. And so it proved its bona fides as the world's premier off-road vehicle. This is a truck. This is just a down and dirty truck.
It's kind of like a weird combination between what the U.S. made for the Hummer H1 and what we've done forever as a Wrangler. It's kind of like that kind of thinking. It's a heavy-duty, rough and tumble military off-road truck.
Jeep with a star.
Kind of.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Great cars, great roads, and all the reasons we love to drive.
Road trips, comparisons, test drives, and podcasts. This is Everyday Driver. Until people started buying them and not taking them off-road, and they became a status symbol, and they became a luxury item. And then over the years, over time, they really became a status symbol. But now, this is the truck that I want. And I was fully prepared to get into this truck and trash it and clown it and associate it with all the celebrities and Hollywood types and lawyers and bankers and the people, the assumptions that you have about people who own and drive G-Wagons.
Sure.
And that is they don't really understand them. They don't take care of them. They don't appreciate what they have. I'm wrong.
See, I didn't think that about the owners, but I didn't think that it was bought for the right reasons.
There's always, with any expensive toy, you think, well, you're just spending your money on just something it's expensive. And why is it expensive? It's just a Mercedes, and it's gussied up with leather and nav and tech.
Now I am with you. I'm with you, yes.
You just wasted your money. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. This is the truck to have. I can't believe how much I want one. Not only do I like it, I want one desperately.
That's so crazy to me.
The click, the shut of the door takes you back to the beginning of the automobile. You feel the history of cars with every door slam in the G-Wagon. Porsche 911s aren't as good as the door slam in the G-Wagon.
Well, the 911 is heralded for the ping that happens after the door closes, which I also don't care about. But yes, this door, as soon as I closed it, I was like, Paul's going to love this.
You feel engineering, you feel history, you're connected to cars again.
You hear a latch.
With every door slam. But it's really not just the door slam. It's how it drives. And this feels tippy. You're sitting way up tall.
It really does.
But as soon as you turn in, you discover it's not tippy. There's a solidity about it that you weren't expecting, which is weird because very few SUVs, there's a good initial turn in and the side bolster grabs you here and locks you down.
That's the party trick, is that the side bolster goes, no, you're not falling over, I got you, every single time.
You have this feeling now, this solidity, this comfort, and you know that you're driving something truly special. I'm amazed with the G-Wagon. I never thought I'd like it this much.
I never thought you'd like it this much, but okay.
I'm shocked. What a great truck. And the fact that it looks like it does just means it's a classic in your wardrobe because it's got the old school style combined with modern technology. It will never go out of style. And for Mercedes to claim that it's stronger than time, I thought was just marketing. They're right. They are right. They know exactly what they have.
They know exactly how to market it, that's for sure.
You're sitting way up high, way upright.
Yes, really upright.
But the whole truck, for 5,800 pounds, almost 6,000 pounds, feels smaller and more nimble than it should. I
will agree with you there. It does not feel nearly as heavy as it is, and it is surprisingly light on its feet with this motor, which is a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, 577 horsepower, mid-600s of torque. This will do 0 to 60 in 4 seconds.
That's quicker than my Cayman.
Which is not something it should do. I'm just going to put it out there. It should not do that, but yet it does. What are you doing?
Just downshifting a few on my 9-speed transmission.
Yeah,
9 speeds.
The transmission's great. I mean, this is Mercedes doing all of its really good stuff on its oldest chassis.
brick shouldn't be this fast.
This is a supersonic brick. It absolutely is, yes.
How is this possible?
This is like rocket engineers at the dawn of rockets, like that far back, said, you know what, let's not make it aerodynamic. Let's just make it a big, boxy brick and still send it into space. That's what this is.
You're right. This subscribes to my theory that you can make anything go fast if
Yes,
you put
you
a
can.
big enough engine on it.
Yes, you can.
Your mobile home, your house
Yes.
on a foundation.
But
you put a big enough engine in it.
this is so abrupt. It's like,
fast.
you remember Spider-Man 2 when Tobey Maguire's like stretched across the front of the subway? It's like that feeling
Yes.
when you're going fast in this. It's like you're stretched out, you're too vertical. What am I doing? Eyes wide.
But yet it doesn't feel like a piece of junk. It doesn't feel like what you think a military truck should. You think this is just built for NATO. This is built for the militaries of the world. Well, yeah, that's where it started. But over time, the refinements that Mercedes has done for it, it is a status symbol, but I can see why. The way it drives, it's too nimble and it's too fast and powerful and useful for what it should be.
You are hook, line, and sinker on this, my friend.
But yet I was fully prepared to not buy in. I kind of wanted to not. I thought, all right, it's Mercedes, and I do like Mercedes, and I like a lot of their vehicles, and this one's old. It's been around too long. Why haven't we killed this off yet? It's like Broadway plays. Like, stop buying tickets and they'll go away.
Hate comments incoming.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But this should have disappeared decades ago. And yet,
yes,
now with these refinements, how good this truck is, this is the classic you shouldn't sell. This is the one that you will always gravitate towards. Stylistic themes for SUVs will come and go, and yet this endures. Hey, look, a Range Rover. Still not as classic.
Sure.
As this.
Rather be in that. Sorry, separate thing.
Okay, why would you rather be in that?
Because it's ergonomically more comfortable. That is the beginning and end. If
I'm
I'm going to spend
perfectly
$150,000,
The seats are brilliant. What are you talking about?
The seats are great, but the body position is terrible. It reminds me of the old Evo
dining room
10.
table.
Yes, you're sitting like this,
Sure.
and after about 10 minutes, I realize I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to sit here anymore.
I'm not uncomfortable. I mean, I like sitting upright. Many people buy SUVs for visibility.
Yes.
This is a fishbowl.
Yes, true.
This has all the glass, all the flat glass.
Yeah.
You can't not see out of this.
You know the fishbowl you bought your teenager that is just the glass box? Glass box. Yes.
Yes. It's a box. Luxury is a box. I love that it is. I can't believe that I like it so much, and I'm really trying to come to the reasons why. And it does come down to build quality and endurance and the classic nature of it. But it's still very capable.
Sure, it's more capable than what it will ever be used for.
Yes, unfortunately, but that's not where it started, and therefore I think it gets a pass because of that. It was built to beat up on, and these are still in use worldwide as armored trucks or military vehicles, and they are beat on. They're used for what they were originally designed for.
People building them into SEMA-style 6x6 trucks. I mean,
Yes.
The important
Mercedes
work.
did that. That's
the important work
now.
is being done. Yeah. Yeah.
The important models have been made.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of power. This, you shouldn't even buy the 550. Just buy the AMG. Why are you?
You are so gone.
Why are you even considering this? As 4x4s go, it's very capable. Unfortunately, it's too nice to take off-road now.
I don't think you would spend this kind of money to use any of your 3 differential locks. You're not spending $150 plus to take to Moab to beat on. You're not doing that, which means you're buying it to cruise through Starbucks and drive and commute through Beverly Hills and go, I have a new G-Wagon.
That I agree with. That's now become synonymous. Now, take a look at the styling. It's been slightly updated to the 1980s.
Because we were in 79 and that was old.
We kind of were.
We got to get to like 85.
Well, okay, I'll give you 90s. But this looks like it's straight out of the 90s, does it not?
Sure, it definitely doesn't look like anybody made it this century. That's true.
Except for the interior. Mercedes has put their new giant screen in here, which is the same shape as the windshield. Have you noticed?
Yep, gotcha.
The styling works. The new tech in the interior now works just fine, I feel like. The shapes are relatable.
Yes.
The turbine vents are simply circles, and a rectangular shape is just classic. So new tech can actually make this thing kind of modern and relevant again, which is great.
It does bring it forward, I'll give you that.
I don't want to be sitting lean way back in an SUV. If I want that feeling, I'll buy a sports car.
Sure.
So I get why you're fully upright. You feel the roots. Some people like it, some people don't.
Splitting right down the middle of the car. Yeah, for sure. All right, I'm going to drive it now.
When you dip into the power, you'll like it better.
The engine's good. I hear you. All right.
Look, grab handle? How useful is that?
For my friend Paul, I submit the following.
There isn't a car that has a better, more solid, well-engineered thunk to it
I will give you that.
than this thing.
That is a definitive clank. It absolutely is a definitive sound. And we are
awesome.
in here, and we are now, I'm not sure what we're protected from, but we are protected, man.
Yeah, man.
This
look
has
at the,
that definite...
The grab handles.
It has a
just
definite,
says,
safe...
we're going to
yes.
do something now.
We're going to do something, for sure.
It does feel like a Jeep. It does feel like Mercedes bought it and built a Jeep.
Mm-hmm. And up
Fine
until
with that.
this generation, this had the recirculating ball steering, which the Jeep still has.
Yeah.
And they made a big deal about the fact that this generation also had an independent front suspension. It's like, which the Jeep still has, the actual beam on the front.
But this has a live axle and it still
Yes,
rides
it does.
good.
It does ride very well, actually. But
I'm impressed with how well this rides.
well,
it doesn't feel like 1980s technology,
That is
1970s
key.
tech.
I think what Mercedes has done here is kind of miraculous because they've taken a lot of things that have no business being on this truck and they've made them work on this truck. They've taken an engine. I mean, this used to have like, it's got 150 horsepower. When they first introduced this thing, it had very, very little. Now it has almost 600 and over 600 pound-feet of torque. Okay, so
it's a lot.
Well, look at it this way:
That'll
we've
do.
gone 6 times as much power as it started with. It's like 100% per decade is what we've pretty much done. So they've got a crazy amount of power. They've got a fairly modern interface. They've got these unbelievable, let's be honest, smart seats that are propping you up when things lean over.
Yeah.
So Mercedes is taking all of their know-how and trying to put all of that stuff that doesn't belong on this storied ancient chassis. And I do think it's a better execution of those two completely divergent ideas than I would have ever expected.
You don't think ancient, though, when you're in it.
I hear you.
Just think classic.
I do struggle with this feeling like it shouldn't exist. Most of that for me is the fact that I know what these are bought by and how they are used.
That's just it. That's the big problem.
And that
with
really
it.
undermines what this really is. Because for what you're going to use this for, you should have bought a GLS or a GLE.
For sure.
They don't have this iconic, military look. I get that. But they are far better at everything you're actually going to use this for. So that starts to make me ask poser questions of what are we trying to convey?
Sure.
Because now, to your point from before,
listen to that. Frickin'.
I mean, inexplicably
almost 6,000
fast.
pounds SUVs should not move like this thing does.
Inexplicably fast and surprisingly grounded. This has a weird sensation where it has a lot of body roll tipping, but yet even in questionable weather that we've had for this, I'm amazed at how good the traction is. This has a level of traction that should be just wiping the tires off the earth anytime you breathe on the accelerator.
Yeah.
And you can get it to do that, for sure. But we have had this, when we picked it up, it was night and it was a snowstorm and it was greasy.
Yep.
And this was fine on all season tires with an overabundance of power.
Kind of crazy.
What's weird is it has this very tippy sensation as if it might fall over, but it doesn't feel like it's going to lose grip, which are in such contrast in feel that both of those things go on at the exact same time. So I'm always surprised at the fact that this just feels grounded and doesn't feel as heavy as it is, even though it does feel military to me. The level of road noise alone, because of these flat panels on, flat, heavy-duty metal doors, this isn't a luxurious place to be. It still feels very raw and kind of aggressive and unkept, and I guess that's what people like.
The materials have made it far more upscale.
They made it nicer, but it's like...
this feels very upscale.
Okay.
You can feel it in things that you touch.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, because Mercedes has brought the stuff from elsewhere. But
yes, absolutely.
I struggle with this existing. And I feel like it exists this long because Mercedes has realized people will pay a bunch of money for something that their margin will be huge.
Yeah.
It feels like Mercedes went, well, if Americans are going to keep buying it, let's put some Apple CarPlay in it.
The world will keep buying this thing. But get this. This has the 911 problem. Because people buy it for sake of posing. For perception. Most people who own 911s don't take them to the track. That's where they belong.
True. Don't drive them hard.
They need to be driven hard, if not tracked. Same thing here, but it's still incredibly capable, and it drives well, better than it should, and it doesn't feel like an antique, even though the design of the 911 is similar. It's lasted for 60 years at this point.
Yeah, you're right. This also has to keep looking like the G-Wagon, like the 911 has to keep looking like the 911.
This can't
that's
look
a good
less
equivalency
rugged.
there. You're right.
It can't look less military and
you're right.
less antique than it does. So the only place left to do anything is how it drives, the power, and the interior.
Yeah. I can't believe that this survives and is this convergence of modern Mercedes and old, not even old luxury Mercedes. The Mercedes that builds semis, it's that Mercedes from the 80s merged with modern Mercedes that can make everything with a turbo feel like a rocket ship. And this is the blending, the marriage of those two realities. And I am astounded by how much they've melded the two. I just don't understand its reason for being, I have to admit.
It appeals because it's that saying, they don't make them like they used to. They don't build them like they used to. Actually, they do.
Or they just keep making the old ones. They could do that, yeah.
They still make them, and now the interior and the amount of tech and amenities rivals any SUV you can buy in the market with new tech, because it's here too. Whether you want massage seats, heating and cooling, you want the best air conditioning system, you want the best sound system, you want good space, good off-roading capability. I mean, when you buy an SUV, the list of things that you're looking for in a brand new truck, I mean, I know these are new, but the brand new models, this still can do. It's just a completely different shape. It doesn't appeal to everybody. I totally get that. I didn't like them before I drove it. I didn't like these. I just thought old school, antique, military, or just a utilitarian truck. It's like a bread van or a milk wagon, or who cares? But when you drive it, then you start to get the classic thing. You start to understand this is why these will never go out of style, and they will only go up in value because people just want them. It's just a classic.
I will agree to disagree, but that's okay.
Fair.
I see it.
They're not for everybody.
I understand
but they don't have to be.
Pieces you're talking about. I see the logic. I also sit here and go, I could find you a bunch of better SUV ways to spend this money. But okay.
It's a lot of money, no doubt. But I was not sold before I drove it. I know. I had this opinion, and it was fully formed, too.
Mm-hmm. You have revolutionized your opinion on this vehicle in one day, and I am quite impressed.
Like it.
I know you do.
I want one.
I know. So the key to Paul's heart is doors. I'm just putting that out there right now. Doors.
Well, a lot of power.
Yeah.
Great sounding V8.
You're right. It does do that. It has the two things that are catnip to you, which is a lot of power and doors.
For the best. I get it.
Mercedes, you've sold another one.
I get it now.
You've sold another one.
I get it. I didn't get it before now.
You get all of it now.
I get all of it. I will have one of these.